Hey everyone, it's Music Tech Help Guy, and I've got another sound design and synthesis video for you today to hopefully jumpstart your creative process. More and more often lately, I've been thinking about synth leads and pads and basses in terms of their timbre or texture and sound design, not just the notes themselves. So, a synth idea not only serves a musical purpose, but hopefully contribute to the overall texture of the song as well. So in this video, I want to show you just one of many, many ways that I like to create sort of like a warped, almost percussive textural lead. So a lead that obviously serves a purpose in terms of melody, but also does something for the texture of the song. So first, let me show you what I mean. The lead comes in here at bar 5. And then here's that lead soloed out. So there's 4 elements to this synth. There's the main idea with some effects. There's the main idea that's been layered with a percussive element, and then a pitch shifted layer with a delay, and then an ambience layer with just some reverb. And I'm gonna recreate this a little differently than I did in my test project here, but ultimately this will make it easier to save this as a preset for later. And if you wanna follow along, I'll make this project available as a free download. Just check the link in the video description below. Okay, so to start, I've got this big syncer preset pulled up. I might have changed a few things in here, and just the main idea here of the lead sounds like this. So that's pretty simple. And then I've created another track and I've duplicated down that MIDI region. And on my second track, I've got Quick Sampler pulled up. And all I'm using is one of these kit pieces from the library here. It's Percussion 3 Infinity. And this is just a percussive sound. The only purpose of this sort of percussion element is that it's helping to sort of accent the front end of the lead and make it more percussive and punchy. So I'm getting a real hard click on the front end of each note. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding effects. And I'm going to add these effects to both the lead and the percussion. Now you could put these in a track stack and put the effects on both of them at the same time. There's a reason why you don't want to do that, and it has to do with saving this for later. I'll explain that when I get to it. So I'll just start with the lead first. What I want to add is the Bit Crusher plugin. This is under distortion. It doesn't have to be the Bit Crusher. You could try out any distortion, but I want something just to give this more texture, to sort of give it some drive. So I'll just play around with the settings here. One of my favorite things to do after distortion is to either play with a filter, a wah pedal, or even an auto wah pedal. There is a plugin in here under the amps and pedals, under the pedal board, and it's called Auto Funk. It's right here. I'll pull that over. It's essentially like an auto wah style pedal. Just trying to get some filter movement on some of these longer notes, because most of the lead is short notes. And by the way, this type of lead works better with a combination of short notes and long notes. If you're using all long legato connected notes, it's probably not going to work out. So try to use a combination of both staccato and legato notes. So the last thing I'm going to put on here is the Tremolo plugin. This is under modulation. This is sort of an optional thing. I like to use the mono tremolo setting and then sync this to maybe 16th notes or 8th notes, just to give this a bit more motion. I don't want the depth to be 100%. I want it to be a bit softer than that. And that pulsing is sort of giving it a rhythmic motive as well. So let me bring the percussion back in, and I'm going to hold Option and copy over all of these plugins over to the percussion as well. So on its own, not very pretty. Let's add another element to this. So I'm going to take my lead here, and I'm going to create a bus. I'll use bus 5. And this bus is going to be the octave delay. So I'll just call this octave delay. I'm going to press Control T with this selected to create a track for it. What that'll do is create a track up in the tracks area here. I'll just pull that down below the percussion. I'm going to Option click on the send and pull it back just a little bit. And then I'm going to use that same bus, bus 5, and do the same thing for the percussive track. Now you can blend these, so you can determine how much you want of each of these going to the pitch shifted track, but I'll do that later after I actually create the octave delay. So what I'm going to do first is add the pitch shifter plugin to this. So I'll go down to pitch shifter. I'm going to set this to up an octave, so up 12 semitones, mix it 100%. Timing should be pitch tracking, and then turn on the latency compensation to make sure that the delay sort of stays in time and doesn't come out of phase with the other tracks too much. So now what I have is I have this aux channel that's playing everything up an octave. And I want to hear some of that, but really I'm using this for the delay. I love having delays up an octave from the original signal. So what I'm going to do is add the stereo delay to this. This is under delay, stereo delay. I'll just keep all the settings as is except for the filter. I'll kind of filter out some of the low end a bit, maybe up at 100 hertz. Filter out some of the high end as well, maybe around 6,000 or 7,000 hertz. Just so it's not too bright. If I keep the output mix for the left and right channels at 100%, you're just going to hear the delay. You're not going to hear the dry signal at all. So I'm going to pull this back just a little bit. It doesn't have to be a lot. And let's see what all three of these sound like together now. The two tracks plus the octave delay aux track. And at this point, you can use this time to sort of determine how much of the percussive track versus the synth track do you want going over to the octave delay. Now, the last element of this is an ambience layer. So I'm just going to select all three of these, including the aux track, and I'm going to create another bus. I'll go over to bus 6 here. Option click on the send amount for those. This is going to be the reverb. So I'll just select this, press Control T once again to create a track up here in the tracks area. Pull this down below the octave delay, solo that as well. Let's just add a reverb on here, whatever reverb you want. Third party, could be Space Designer. I'll use, under large spaces, I'll use the shimmering plate. Pull up that wet signal a bit. And again, because this is on an aux track, you don't want the dry signal up at all. You want this to be at 0 or muted, because we just want to hear the reverb on this channel. And you can balance some things here too. If you want to hear more of the delay in the reverb, you can pull up the send here while pulling these down a bit. So it's completely up to you. Let's hear what that sounds like with everything back in the mix. Now, one of the reasons why I said that I wanted to recreate this a little differently when I demonstrate this for you is because I want to be able to save this for later. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put these in a track stack, all 4 of these. You can put aux tracks in track stacks. So go up to track after selecting them, and then go to create track stack and create a summing stack. And I'll just call this texture lead. Now, the cool thing about this is you can actually just put the MIDI region up here on the track stack, and now you no longer have to put any MIDI down here on the actual instrument channels. You can just put it up here, and it'll send this MIDI data to any instrument channels that are within the stack. And yeah, we'll adjust the levels here to make sure that the instrument isn't just clipping right out of the box. Okay, so when you're all done, what you can do is you can save this entire track stack here as a library preset that you can recall at any time. You just select that track is all you do, and then go over to your library, go down here where it says save, and then I'll give this a name. I'll just call it texture lead patch. There we go. And now if I create a new software instrument, go over to user patches, there's that texture lead. And what that does is it loads up a full track stack with the retro synth with its effects, the percussion sound with its effects, the octave delay, and the verb, and everything is automatically pre-routed here for you, so you don't have to do all of that over again. So that's my trick to creating a cool, sort of warped, textured lead in Logic using all stock plugins. Once again, if you want to check out this project for yourself, I'll leave a link where you can download it for free in the video description and comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to see more content like this. As always, thank you so much for the support, and thanks for watching.